And we feel that only we, us modern human beings, or have this ability. Actually, science means understanding. Now, whether you understand through these equations or whether you understand through intuition. A frog has a science. If science is understanding of its environment and everything that it needs to understand to survive. So that is the fundamental thing that you have to keep in mind. Because we immediately say, but science has proved this and it's made mobile phones and that and that and that. And I'll come to that a bit later. So I would like to here ask, who do you think is destroying this planet?
Humans.
Can I hear it louder? Don't worry, I won't report you.
Humans.
Humans.
Very good, very good.
He got the answer he wanted.
Yes, I know. We had yes. Yeah, he challenged me. He said, what if somebody gives the right answer? I said, impossible. Humans is not wrong, but partly wrong. And actually wrong, in my opinion. Humans as a species, there's only one culture. It has 5,000 cultures. Mansoor go up to there, or there, or suppose you were standing on a hill far across. Or suppose you were standing on the moon and looking.
Or somebody calls you on your mobile phone. You can connect across the world also. Are you there?
Yeah.
Where does your boundary end?
So, apart from that,
Because you can affect people across the globe also. Where does your boundary end?
we are interconnected. Yeah, exactly.
So there is no boundary.
Why the hell did we write this book? Advait. Because Advait means no boundary. But we treated it as an esoteric, philosophical book. But I must give credit to those writers 3,000 or 5,000 years ago. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You want to use this mic?
I think so.
Hello? No, I think it's to do with being a loud mouth.
Hello. So, and beyond how far you can see, this is something which most people won't know. But every little bit of mass, like a ball, or even an atom, a proton, every mass has a gravitational field. And that gravitational field goes on forever. So I am interconnected to the other galaxies. It might be very, very small, very weak, but it's connected. So the very notion of separation was the notion which started with agriculture. Because you wanted to separate, this is mine, that's yours. And that created the sense of the imaginary boundary. Show me a boundary. Whichever land you got or house you got. I'll say, is it here? You say, no, here. No, there. It's not, it's an imaginary thing. Okay, it's there. But does it mean it's separate from this? The water that flows from here doesn't connect with it. The air that flows over it doesn't connect with it. The insects that crawl here don't end up there. Everything is connected. That's why the book is called One. So this one is very different from this one. Can you tell me what the difference is?
One as a numerical.
Please. See, in this context you got the right answer. So, one is, which is my third point, reality, which is totality. And when I used to use the word totality earlier, way before I started these things. Totality is not the total stuff we know. Totality is simply everything. What I can see, what I can feel, what I can't see, what I can't feel, what I can taste, what I can sense with a multimeter or whatever, or a galaxy which is known, or unknown forces, unknown concepts, unknown things, mirages, dreams, everything comes into one. And that is an interconnected life. So what the boundary did was, in human minds, it created the concept of separation. And not only physical land separation, But that went into something more called symbols. But this one is a symbol. It stands for one person. But I just told you, this is not one person. You arbitrarily made a boundary around it and saying, oh, this is one person and his name. The name is a label. It's symbol. How many Johns do you know? John Travolta?
John Matthews also.
Ah,
Where's John?
sorry, I don't. Maybe I should behave myself there. Yeah.
So we all know one at least.
John Matthews, John Lennon, John Kennedy.
John Abraham, yeah.
But you haven't met one John. It's firmly fitted in my bathroom.
Only John.
So see, what does a name mean? You know? So name is a label. And you will say, I know 3 Johns. But there's nothing in common between them. So it's a reduction of reality. I'll say John Matthews and John Travolta and John Lennon are all Johns. But there's nothing in common between them. Even if they're friends, you know. So it creates the idea of names. So these are all symbols. Alphabet, word, number. Can you show me 2 of anything? Identity.
2 books.
Wow. So,
No, but basically what Mansoor is saying is that each thing is unique.
and
So
obviously,
you cannot have
this is
2
about-
identical things of anything. Even 2 grains of rice are not the same.
Nothing is the same. So the concept of 2, when we think that maths is the most,
2 apples.
is the purest
But they are not 2 same apples.
One is green, one is slightly sour, one is slightly dark, one is this. Can they have the same dimension, same tone, same? If one is here and one is here, they're identical. Imagine that there are 2 glasses which are identical, sitting on this table. And somehow all the magicians, texts in the world have managed to manufacture. I grant they are identical. Because weight, reflectivity, diameter, height. And a cold wind blows from it. Which glass will get cold first? And which will get colder? So they were not the same. Because 2, even if you can imagine identical things, they occupy different parts of space. And that is what one is. It is a continuum. But we made this thing and we are so programmed. Civilization is so programmed. We have 10,000 years of programming in us. So it is hard for us to imagine that anybody can distrust symbols or anybody can question numbers.
So I guess a lot of this comes out better in the, in a more detailed way in the book, which these are concepts which you can explore in the book as you read them.
Right.
I also want to know about the characters, Mansoor. I've read the book, so they're 2 really fantastic characters. How did you come about them? Tell us a bit about the characters. Are they connected to you in any way? Is it something you observed?
So around the time when my land was going to be acquired, and I realized all these things about injustice, inequity, the kind of rapacious things that civilization is doing. I used to try and communicate this to people. But I was not a very gentle communicator. So I would get angry, I would get emotional, I never hit anybody. But after that I would feel bad. That's a family trait. That at night I would get out that guilt. Can't I behave myself? तो वहाँ से जब एक पॉइंट आया जब मुझे लगा यार या तो मैं पागल हूँ या आप लोग सब पागल.
So that's one of your characters.
So I am both those characters. But the concept of insanity came into my mind. It's very interesting, very tasty. It's a great device for writing. Insanity is a great device. An author can write the simplest story with an insane character and I'm going to enjoy it. But that's not why I chose insanity. Because they are not insane. Why? You are rejecting them and deeming them insane. Similar science and all. So one is paranoid and one is clinically depressed. Abhay and Sonal are two halves of my character and two parts of my journey. I was going the Abhay way. I thought one day I'll get to know everything in the universe. I loved Cornell University. What libraries, books, internet is starting. So that was me. One day we'll crack it. We'll solve it. And then this journey happened, of my land and all that. And I became aware that no, it's not like this. So then I went on the Sonal journey, which was, so I was part of many people's movements. I've been on dharnas, I've been in submergence, I've been close to a lot of thinkers that whose thoughts I'd never imagined. Because I don't suffer from it. See, we all are very snugly sitting here and we are assured that we'll get water when we go back. But how does that water come in? Whose house is drowned? Whose village is taken? Whose community is broken? I'm only talking to the humans. तो मैं moral level पे चला गया. So that is the difference between Sonal and Abhay's character, and I've experienced both. One thing I realized, that Sonal's character is a self-destructive character. And if I had gone on that journey, I would have surely done something violent. Or then people would say, bola tha na pagal. Right. So I controlled myself, and that's why Abhay and Sonal, though they are both characters, in storytelling there's a protagonist, the journey of the protagonist. So actually the protagonist is not Abhay, it is Sonal. And Sonal's awakening to understand, then she said, oh my God, I was just a person thinking of morality, environment, human injustice, but ye to kahin baat, he's taking it out of the moral realm. So that's what.
Well, anyone has any questions about the book? And we stick to questions about the book and Mansoor, not about my films and all of that.
Mansoor, I wanted to know the Sonal's character in this book. You have detailed one chapter which tells about three parts of brain. One is reptilian, one is mammalian. And could you throw some light on that? जब आपने कुछ बताया है उसमें कि जब ये आप पे भारी हो जाता है ये part of brain.
So I don't reveal the book. I trust all of you are going to buy multiple copies and
Get it signed.
so I don't want to reveal the book, but I'll talk to you later. We can talk at length.
Yeah. Yeah, Maz?
Yeah, Maz.
Mansoor, this is why I think is probably a conceptual novel. So it's fiction with a very strong non-fiction base. So as a writer, did you ever have this struggle as to how much of non-fiction and how to kind of take the fiction?
Absolutely, good question.
And how do you manage that? How do you balance that?
Yeah, so because the fiction characters came in my mind later, and I was already working on the non-fiction, so I was very clear what I'm going to say in the non-fiction. When these characters came in my mind, I realized that actually the plot is very simple. It's not a big complicated plot of smuggling and this thing and murder and the fictional plot is very simple. And if I insert the book, first of all I have to condense, distill very selectively, and that's what I did, And I don't know, I did it somehow. Many people read it and Payal told me, no, this is extra, But it was a very conscious effort, and that's true. Because I always, people tell me, why don't you make a film on this? So most people think film is the most powerful medium. Film is a very powerful medium for love, romance, lust, hatred,
Action.
vengeance, murder, titillation. It's great. But for paradigm shift, it's not. And at this level. I don't mean paradigm shift by a communal guy realizing, why do I hate Hindus? Why do I hate Muslims? I'm not talking about that kind of paradigm shift. This is a paradigm shift of every aspect of your life. So it was, that's what took me a long time. But I knew that there has to be a balance. And luckily, and this is, I couldn't have planned it, that I could break it into 3 segments. And I could fit my narrative at the correct place so that this segment could start. And then the correct place where this, it's not just that I've inserted 3 segments, but there's a progression in it, which when you will read, you will see, yes, I'm being true to that.
Did you unravel the narrative logic through the events? Is that what you happened?
Sorry?
Could you unravel the narrative logic of your concepts through the events? Through the logic?
Through the events in the fiction.
Yes, through the events in the fiction.
No, not really.
Not really.
Not really. See, Sonal's character was totally clear to me in 2000 when I just
Started to write.
started to write, in the sense that I...
So you started to write this in 2000?
In 2000.
That's 23 years ago. Okay.
And when I... no, I'm quite old. So, but you know, this is the thing about writers. You know, everybody says, how do I write? How do I write? Should I be disciplined? Sit at the desk, you know, every morning, tap my pen and all that. When these 2 characters came in my mind, I write on the laptop. So, and I can touch time, which is helps you a lot. So you can think and you don't have to look. And those words, and those sentences, and those phrases, and were evolving. I didn't know where she had to meet him. I knew that was her first sentence. She was in park. You know,
But I should read the first chapter. Not the first chapter, the first few pages. So that will give an idea.
Are you guys up to it?
Yeah, I think it's just 3 pages yet. See, yeah, I'll hold the mic for you. Yeah. So, just for, since
How do you want to read it?
oh, acha. Okay. So the book is actually fiction. So it's entirely fiction, but it's set in a lot of research must have gone into this, Mansoor. So before I read, I just want to ask you, who are the authors you've read to research this topic? Because while the topic is real, the storytelling is fiction, is told in a fictional world.
So one is that Masanobu triggered this journey of my thought. But then I read widely, so it's not like I got it, but I had to understand it from every dimension. So I read, and these authors nobody would have heard of. I mean, sorry, I was only want to say that I'm a friend of mine.
No, yeah, so they're specialized writers, yeah, sure, but
yeah, I can't help being a bad boy. So the thing is that these writers, you have to find them. You have to seek, you have to go down the right, and sometimes a friend might suggest you, but you won't come enter a bookshop like this and find it, you know. So because of my thing, land going, I was looking at these kind of sites. There are only 4 or 5 people. There's Charles Eisenstein, there's John Zerzan, who's given a blurb for me. That was a huge moment for me. There is Derek Jensen, he's also given a blurb. Then there is Daniel Quinn. If you guys are thinking of reading any of these people, I'd suggest you read Daniel Quinn's Ishmael first, because it's very tastily written.
very tastily written.
Yeah, and it's something that it's a good launch pad.
So is this actually. I find it quite tasty. Present October 2007. She had to talk to him in that park that had been her Saturday morning routine. She had come to terms with the late morning joggers, the urchins, the birds and the stray dogs, but not him. For some inexplicable reason, he stood apart. Her mind could not fathom why. Maybe it was the way he clutched that briefcase of his, and he would open it and look into it but never take anything out. The rest of the time he spent sitting still, occasionally giving a quick look over his shoulder, then easing back into stillness, waiting. For whom? Now she counted out the grains carefully as the pigeons flocked near her, waiting to be fed. Each one got an equal share. She watched them peck hungrily and nibbled at her sandwich, which was a perfect circle by now. Then she spotted him, heading for his favorite bench with his briefcase stiffly held close to his side. How could she possibly ask him what was in his briefcase? She had not spoken to anyone except her family for so long that she did not know what people said to each other. But it was the only desire that had sprung in her mind in a long, long time. And now, here he was, entering the park. Would she have the gumption to ask him? Instead of sitting at his usual place, he cut right through the park, a marked deviation from his weekly routine. There was a definite purpose in his movements. He stopped near a pile of long, colored plastic pipes stacked on the side of the road. Casting a quick look around, he lowered his brown leather briefcase to the ground and sat down gingerly on the stack of pipes. His hand slipped something out of his pocket, then fell by his side. He began a slow, covered but strenuous action that was reflected mainly by the set look on his face. She forgot all about his bag and its possible contents, peering at his new activity with unconcealed interest. The strenuous action stopped, and he got up. A section of the pipe he had been sitting on was now dangling from his right hand. That's when he noticed her. His eyes froze on her as though she was the guilty one. Without taking his eyes off her for even a moment, he walked down a path that circled the park towards her. She watched him with a growing sense of panic, till her breath became short and uneven, but she did not move. And now he was close enough to whisper audibly to her. "It's alone," he said, gesturing to the piece of colored pipe in his hand. She was self-conscious. She self-consciously passed her hand over her crew-cut hair. Coupled with the gaunt features, it gave her a punk look that somewhat said she was not to be trusted. She remained silent and he continued, "I'm not stealing it. I need to borrow it. It's just a loan. I did not think you were stealing. But you were looking at me. Why?" I was wondering what you have in that briefcase." She could not believe she had actually said that. How audacious. How audacious she would have normally thought. But she held a gaze. It flashed fear, surprise, and then plain contempt. She did not know what caused each emotion, but she just looked back at him. She had asked an honest question, and that was that. "You have no right to ask me that," he said. A hint of aggression, but it appeared to stem from latent fear rather than indignation. Somewhere deep in her subconscious mind, she eased up and was not scared of him anymore. He walked away clutching the briefcase a little more firmly and tried to conceal the colored pipe by holding it close to his body. She watched him disappear down a lane. She was not disturbed, but in some distant way reassured. The morning continued as usual. So these are the two characters, I guess, which, in fact, that's the start of the book, the first 2-3 pages. So, any other questions, guys? Yeah. You want a mic?
No.
Okay.
As long as you can hear.
Yeah, we can hear.
You're talking about the characters both having some, like paranoia and, in this world of mental disorders and everybody talking about it. Was that a key sort of idea that you thought that now is the right time for?
No. So, of course, these are concerns. And environment is a concern and all these. I mean, we are living in a disrupted, collapsing world. So, everything can be a concern. But my central subject was not that. It just, it naturally flowed from the feeling I was getting. That if I'm going to talk this which makes so much sense to me, I'll lose all my friends. I'll probably end up in Khar police station lockup. You know, that was a feeling. So, the thought that they want to convey, actually Abhay. But Sonal is one Actually, Sonal is a reader. You're already aware. Environment is bad, this, that. So you feel like you've reached